Hello, today we're going to play True or False 2. True or false? True. So you may remember a few weeks ago I had a bit of a meltdown when one of my vlogs that I planned fell through at the last minute and I didn't know what I was going to do instead. I had a bit of a panic. It's a bit of a difficult moment. But then from the darkness came light, as we used to sing at school. And I came up with this idea, probably not the most original idea in the world, but it turned out to be quite good fun, of a true or false game, where I would say 10 things about myself and you had to guess whether they were true or false. And in the end it worked quite well, so I've decided this might be a semi-regular feature on the vlog, and this is number 2, and this time we're going to have a proper prize. You may remember the other day I mentioned my book that I wrote with my very good friend John Smith. It's called Booked, The Gospel According to Our Football Heroes. We read about 120 footballer autobiographies and distilled them down to the best and funniest and weirdest bits. It's really good, actually, this book, for anyone who likes football. So that's the prize on offer for the person that gets the most right out of 10. And now I'm relying on you to be honest here, because I'm going to give the results away during the vlog. So no cheating, no rewinding and going back. Pure honesty, please. Come on, we're all friends here. And if we have more than one person getting a top score, I'll do a draw and someone will win this. And then if the winner doesn't want this book, I'll come up with a different price for them. Does that sound fair to you? Sounds fair to me. Let's get on with it. True or false? When I was about 18, me and a couple of friends had a couple of drinks, quiet drinks, in a local pub. And we didn't want the night to end, so one of my friends went up to the bar manager and asked if they do takeaway cartons of beer, because some pubs out in the country do that. And he was very rude to my friend. He said, "No, we do not do that. It's a terrible idea." We were a bit taken aback by his rudeness. And we walked home. And as we walked home, we got more and more angry with the way he'd treated us, because we hadn't been misbehaving. We weren't drunk or anything like that. And we decided to wreak our revenge. So we went back under cover of darkness, all dressed in black. And we stole one of their A-frame advertising things from outside the pub, the ones that sort of say home cooked food in here, which is always a lie. We took it back to his house, went out to the back garden, and we set light to a bonfire that was there, and we put it on top of the bonfire and burned it and took pictures of ourselves dancing in front of the fire in delight at our wicked revenge. True or false? That, I'm ashamed to say, is true. True or false? When I play Super Mario Odyssey with my son on the Switch, when Mario is walking along a kind of precarious ledge and could at any moment fall into an abyss, even though I'm sitting in an armchair, I start to get vertigo. True or false? That is true. I also can't play Yoshi's Crafted World anymore because I get simulation sickness. True or false? I was once used as a David Beckham lookalike on a television show. True or false? That's absolutely true. It was on a Harry Hill sketch show. I also once had to give my autograph to a woman in Japan because my friend told her that I looked a bit like David Beckham. I do not think that I look like David Beckham. True or false? When I was backpacking in India, we went to visit a small Indian village, and we were being taken round by a boy who lived in the village, sort of show us the huts and that kind of thing. And suddenly he stopped and shouted something and just ran away past us. And I looked where he'd been looking, and there was a king cobra there. And the moment I looked at the cobra, in that second, it spat right at me and it just hit me on the cheek, and I just pegged it back to the boy's family, and fortunately none of it went in my eye, and it was fine. But probably the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. True or false? It's false, obviously, although my granddad did used to tell a story about how a spitting cobra spat into his eye, and he jumped into a swimming pool nearby to wash his eye out, and luckily he kept his sight. I think that was also false, but it was our favourite story. True or false? A couple of years ago I did jury service, and one of the members of our 12-strong jury was multiple Olympic gold medal winner, the sailor Ben Ainsley. True or false? False. True or false? I once worked on a show about ITV's answer to Grandstand, World of Sport. We celebrated its history and of course did quite a lot of chat about British wrestling, which was one of the most successful things on the show. As part of that, we interviewed Jimmy Savile, who had a history as a wrestler, weirdly, around the 60s, and subsequently he said that he would send us some pictures from his wrestling days, which he did. And in the letter that accompanied those pictures sent to me, it said that if I did not return them in full, without any damage done, then one day I would be found face down in a body of water. True or false? True. True or false? This ring belonged to my dad, and actually went missing for several years. It was his wedding ring, and he actually had to get a new one when he lost it. And then when he was moving from the first house he had with my mum to our second home, being a good country boy, he was digging up his compost heap to take with him, because that's what people did in those days, I think. And as he was forking it, he saw something glisten in the sun, and he looked down, and it was this ring. And when I got married, he gave it to me, so he didn't have to buy one. True or false? That is 100% true. True or false? When I was a kid, I went to a fairground and I found this machine where it said that if you made a wish, it would grant it if you gave it a bit of money. So I did that and I made a wish. I was one of the smallest in my class at the time, so my wish was quite simple. I just wanted to be bigger. Then I woke up the next day and I'd become a fully grown adult. I was forced to run away from home. I did manage to get some work as a toy consultant at a major toy company. But while I was there, one of my colleagues fell in love with me, and we ended up making love one night, even though technically I was still a child. And in the end, I kind of had to find the machine again so that I could wish to be small. Yeah, it was weird. True or false? No, of course, that was the plot to the movie Big, starring Tom Hanks. True or false? On a recent flight abroad, just as the plane touched down on the landing strip, the landing was aborted and we took off again and had to fly around in a circle and land again. The official reason given was an animal on the runway. True or false? That is true, and we never found out what that animal was. My bet is that it was a bear. false. In my early 20s, I had a brief period as a model for the British Home Stores catalogue. True or false?
Bonk.
That is false, but I did once do a bit of catwalk modelling in the local BHS store when I was about 3 years old.